Welcome to the Leighton Inclusion Interview Show, where we talk about the difference between kindness and cruelty with an emphasis on kindness. And today we're going to focus mostly on creativity and self-realization. And I have a friend and recording artist, and full disclosure, I work with Steve Bonino's band, Red32. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Wonderful, Anne. How are you?
I'm pretty functional. I'm having a good day. I I have to say that I felt the need to interview Steve because I'm working an album that Steve wrote all the lyrics to, or most of the lyrics to,
Oh,
Red32's
yeah,
Cybergenic Dreams
yes,
Continuum. Or
yes.
the album is called Cybergenic Dreams. The second video is called Continuum. And that song, as well as a couple of other songs in the album, it it, it to me it told the story, starting with Continuum and Hollow Heart towards the end of the album. Those two songs, in certain ways, were passionate standouts because I, let's talk about the album first and what it's about, and then I'll cut to the chase about the songs, and we'll talk about everything else as well.
Okay, cool.
So Red 32, Cybergenic Dreams. Red 32 has this thing where you're leaving planet Earth to start a new planet where everybody's going to behave and be treat our environment right, right?
We were hoping. I, if I were a gambling man, I'd say it's maybe a 50-50 chance that we would do better. But I'll take it. We'll go for it.
Right. Well, hey, I mean, what was the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio and Meryl Streep where Meryl Streep, I mean, she was the president of the United States and she went to another planet. What's out there or something like that. It's on Netflix, or it was.
Don't look up
Don't look up. That's it.
where they
Did
go
you
to the
see
other
that
planet at
movie?
the end. Oh, I love it. The last scene kills me. I love it. They all get
Yeah.
out there, they're naked, and these dinosaurs are there, and this guy who's too hippie for words says, don't pet the animals, and then they start eating the people, and it's perfect. It was a
Yeah,
very funny movie. I enjoyed it.
totally. Yeah, and we should say that the people that went to the that other world had karmic issues for sure.
They had
So,
issues. Yeah.
but yeah, but the gist of cybergenic dreams is that we're going to another planet with hopes that it'll be better 50-50% this time. And when I listened to the first song Continuum on this album, I'm thinking, man, the guy is questioning himself and hearing some of the horrible things that this planet has become, that Earth has become. And some of the songs, while he's dreaming, he's blaming himself for everything that's going on. And
Speaking on behalf of his perception of everyone. So he's blaming everyone. We all played a part.
right. But when we got to Hollow Heart, it felt, this is my interpretation, where he's going, oh, there were people that expedited and made it significantly bad. And if the right people were in charge, it wouldn't be so bad. Come back to me. Come back to
I'm
me.
coming back. I'm making a comeback. I believe there I go. I made a
Well
comeback.
done.
Good. I like making.
Yeah. When we heard, me too. When we heard Hollow Heart, I'm like, it sounds like he's finding out really the source of who was most responsible, or who was significantly responsible for the bad things that happened, and that
Well,
he was
he's
standing up to
blaming the
them.
man. He's blaming the man who had the power and
Right.
disregarded the scientific knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone else was partially to blame for not holding the people in charge to account. In their indifference, they all of them cumulatively destroyed the earth, and it's It's mostly blaming the guy, the man, the elite that chose not to listen to the information and let us die. But
Right.
the truth of the matter is, they wouldn't be there if it wasn't for the smaller man that put him there. So it's a lot of blame to go around.
There is a lot of blame, but what about all the smaller men? And I would hunch that you would not, you yourself, Steve Bonino, would not be voting for the guys because you paid attention to the evidence, because you're capable of writing this album.
Sure, I'm capable of all kinds of things. That doesn't mean I'm also capable of being duped. We're only
Hmm.
as good as the information we get. And if I'm fed a pack of lies, I might believe them. I don't know.
Sure.
I'm certainly not above believing a lie because I just don't know what the truth is sometimes.
That's also true. I mean, I know that I've gone through people's reputations, for instance, where somebody was nice to me and people were like, "Oh, no, 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 that person is not that kind of person." Something like that. And I believe the rumors because the person that told me the rumor I thought was a good friend until years later when he turned out not to be a good friend. And that's happened a few times, but we do make amends. We do learn from our lessons, which is also part of the album, the Cybergenic Dreams.
Well, the hope is that we took it so far, we eliminated the possibility of life for us on our planet. That would give you a cause for reflection.
Yeah,
Now, one would hope that the people that boarded the ships that were taken out of there were chosen, perhaps for personality types, of course, for reproductive potential, but for personality types and, of course, to fit certain skill sets that are going to be required in any civilization. But you'd think that they would choose the people that would be more apt to I'm coming back to you. That would be more apt to try to create a better future.
right,
I,
right.
I apologize, Anne. My computer is having a challenging day. Hmm.
It'll get better.
Yeah,
Knock wood.
yeah.
Was Red 32 created in part for this vision, or was it created to work with other like-minded musicians? And we should note Tony Romero is one of the artists. Robert Schindler, otherwise known as Robeone, and
Eric Confer.
Eric Confer, guitarist out of Arizona. And you guys are all studio cats
Correct.
and collaborating there. Is that was Red 32 created first for your vision, or was it created to work with other folks, these people?
Well, Red 32 is an offshoot of Tony Romero's Vortex,
Mm,
which Tony Romero formed himself and invited Rob and I to perform on, along with some other wonderful artists. But out of that, we decided to do a follow-up album, and the follow-up album was created in a different way than the first one was. And the way Red 32 works is Tony or Eric or Robert will come up with an initial idea, and they send me all these files of snippets of ideas to work with. Some of them are long, some of them are very short, and I sift through them. Whatever inspires me, I take to the next level to create a song. And then at the end of my creating the format for the song, I go back to the guys and say, I need you to put your voice on it. I need you to put keyboards on it, put guitar on it. So after I create a structure, we all go back to the creative pool together and put on the finished product. But it's different than Tony Romero's Vortex, which was mostly inspired by him. That was mostly his gig. And then we decided with the new format for production that it might actually be more of a band concept as opposed to just Tony's idea. So we decided to give it a band name, and this was the first album. And the band name was decided on because Tony had a relative that passed away. and his favorite number on the pool, on the, what is that thing?
Craps table.
Thank you, not the craps table. It's the roulette table.
Okay, roulette.
On the roulette
Okay.
table, his favorite number on the roulette table was Red 32. So we made the band name in dedication to his relative. So that's why we're Red 32.
There's, I think this is done. I think people sharing excerpts of songs or poets, like the beat poets, uh, would share poetry ideas and cut them and see, pasted them to where it made the most sense. And now
Mhm.
we cut and paste on our computer. That's I love that type of collaboration because it's like I'm combining things to come up with something that I would never have thought of on my own. And everyone's idea, for some reason, could be combined, like a puzzle or a piece of architecture.
Yeah.
And
It's definitely, I write my own songs, which means obviously I take it from point A to point Z. But when I work with the guys this way, I can honestly say it sounds different. And it sounds different because when you have an inception, it's not your own. It's going to affect how you work with it. And since I didn't create any of these pieces of music from scratch, I always waited for these guys to send me ideas. They're all started by Rob idea or Tony idea or Eric idea, and not my own. So I'm coming in the second step and developing it further, but it doesn't sound like my own stuff to me, at least.
you have a couple of other projects. One is Zabacus. Is
Correct.
that okay? So the vocals on that are almost the same as or similar to the vocal voice. The voice on that is similar to the voice on Red 32. Is that Tony or someone else?
No, that's my friend Ted. My friend Ted Zahn, who lives in Arizona. He and I collaborated on 5 albums, I think. It was four or five albums. And we've been longtime friends and collaborators. And he moved before he moved to Arizona, he was here in California with me. And we would sit face to face and literally just create songs face to face. In the last 2 albums, I think we were in different states, so the dynamics changed. But there was something magical when we were face to face. And he has a very warm tone, like Tony does, very warm voice. I love his voice. It's wonderful.
Voice a lot. A lot. I and it reminded me a lot of Tony. So and he had his kind of a spoken word approach to his singing.
Yes, yes,
It was just that's something I feel like I could listen to that recording all day. So you have a lot of collaborations that you do with different people.
I do.
How does it work? I mean, do you start ideas? Are there any collaborations that you start ideas with nowadays?
Yes, there's a band I'm in right now called Bomber Goggles,
I
which
like the
features
name.
Peter Matuchniak. He's a guitar player and a composer, and Vance Gloucester, who's a keyboardist and a singer and a composer, and so Peter's a singer as well. And we work with Jimmy Keegan on drums as a guest drummer, like we did with Red 32. Jimmy is a wonderful drummer, and he's the kind of guy. It's amazing. You've got these complex, weird pieces. He comes into the studio, and he'll record the whole album in one day. You just play him a piece of what you've done on your demo. He listens to it, he memorizes it, and he performs it perfectly. It's just one of those great skills that he has. He's amazing.
Connected with the drums. So
Exactly. But what
yeah,
we do with Bomber Goggles is we all compose together different pieces of the same puzzle, but we're all throwing ideas in. It's a little different than Red 32's process.
bands currently done with people in the same room, or is it all email collaborations, things like that?
Uh, Bomber Goggles did a first album called Ireland, in which we actually did sit together in a rehearsal studio And we did about 60–70% of the album in person, playing with each other on our instruments in a room. That was a blessing. That was a wonderful thing. Prior to that, I had worked with Peter Matukniak in his garage, and we had a whole band that would set up in the garage, and we wrote and worked on this album together. His album, Destiny, which was a beautiful album. So I've been blessed by being in the same room with some composers periodically. It's been wonderful. It's my favorite way of doing it, but much more challenging today with the distance everybody is from everybody.
Yeah, I mean, you're in California. Just to look at the Red 32 bandmates. Fortunately, everyone's in North America,
True.
so you can mail fun swag to one another
Mm-hmm.
without having difficulty
True.
with tariffs. Arr.
Mm-hmm.
But Robeone, Robert Schindler is in North Carolina. Um, Tony, DJ Tony is, where is he? He's in Seattle or
Portland.
Oregon?
He's in the Portland area, Portland,
Oh,
Oregon,
bless him. Portland. You're in Southern California
Southern California.
and
Eric
Arizona.
Cooper's in New Mexico.
Okay. So, yeah, so there's a little bit of a distance between you all, and maybe some of you will come out one season for NAMM, but not everyone at the same time. Do you go to NAMM when?
Well, Rob and I had breakfast at NAMM last year, and I went to the NAMM with them the year before. Should he come to NAMM again this year, I will certainly get together with him at some point somewhere.
So you're not hibernating, or are you, for the most part?
I do hibernate. I love hibernating, but I tend to hibernate in the studio. I don't, I sometimes go days without going outside because I'm just so focused on getting things accomplished.
Gotcha. Projects to do. What about vitamin D, though? The sun.
I, but my doctor has prescribed me vitamin D to be sure that I at least swallow the sun every day.
And yeah, I should take some vitamin D. I do go out, even in the rain. I did it today. So, but I can relate, because I do like to be where no one can find me, sleeping, eating, walking, or dancing. I have to dance.
Cool.
Uh, yeah, music does that to me. Some people see colors. What does music do to you? Are you one of those people that sees things or hears things or has to move when you hear music? What does it do to you?
When I hear a band that's new to me that is playing something that I find very interesting, I get very focused. I remember I had friends saying, "What are you doing?" And I'm just saying, "I'm listening because I'm learning, I'm listening, I'm analyzing, I'm deconstructing what I'm hearing that's tickling my ears. I want to figure out what it is. Because when I like something, and especially since I'm creating music too, I want to try to figure out where did their inspiration come from. If it was cool, I want to see if I can tap into some of that vibe.
Done that for you.
A lot of bands,
Okay, a lot of bands.
a lot of
I,
bands, a lot of bands.
I was just listening to an interview with, or a documentary on Johnny Rotten and the people that inspired him. And I was amazed that people like Tan and Van de Graaff Generator and Captain Beefheart's Trout Mask
Wow,
replica
wow,
were his coming of age albums that changed his life.
interesting.
Yeah. And I guess he had to use it with Public Image, but not with the Sex Pistols. So,
Fascinating. You just never know where people are coming from. You can't judge a book by its cover. You just have no idea what the pages are that lead to the book.
the High School of the Performing Arts. Were you music major there?
Yes, it was one of those schools where you auditioned for it and you got in. There was one up on Upper East Side of New York. It was just the High School of Music and Art, which was music study and painting art. Then there was one way downtown, which was the one that inspired the movie Fame, which was dancing and art. And what happened is over time, they closed the one in Upper East Side and they put the whole school downtown. That's after my time. I graduated from the Upper East Side.
Gonna ask you if you knew the guy Bruno from there because he's from the Bronx and moved to California. The
Afraid
guy
not.
that, oh, okay. So, but he seemed to love prog rock and that those genres just from listening to him back then in the movie Fame,
Hmm.
so, but we don't know how much of it was folks that, were professional music supervisors or whatnot. So,
I would
um,
imagine the people in the movie Fame were actors that just happened to be singers and dancers from anywhere in the country, writing a script about, inspired by the actual
yeah,
Fame high school, but not necessarily people from the high school, I wouldn't think.
I know that Bruno was one of the actor, Lee somebody or other, that actually did go to the school.
There you go, probably some.
Um, yeah, so they probably were competing and stuff like that. What movies or TV shows do you like, and do you make time to watch any TV during
I
the
do. I
week?
find a lot of today's television is because of the fact that people aren't going to the movie theaters, a lot of our better actors are playing in television shows. So the acting and the directing is really taken a notch up on TV series on the subscription channels. So I am very entertained by quite a few shows that I've seen on, I mean, I love Wednesday, for example. That's just a very
Yeah.
fun show. But there's a whole bunch of shows and a whole bunch of movies I love. I'm a big fan of science fiction and horror. Those are my two favorite genres. Not that I don't love rom-coms and adventures and dramas and but science fiction, just adore science fiction. When science fiction is combined with horror, boy, it totally floats my boat.
Super fan, thanks to my friends in Kansas, of Supernatural. Did you like that show?
Love the show. Yeah,
Yeah, that was one of my favorite shows ever. I don't know about you, but
fantastic.
yeah. Uh, yeah, and it was a perfectly there were episodes from goofy to
Yeah,
serious.
I like that. I like shows that have different colors. On any given day, you could be surprised by what direction they go in. It has a lot to do with the director of that particular episode.
Choices also for scripts as well. Um, there's a lot, as you know, being a writer yourself. What what direction did you think your career would take? Were you when you first started performing? Were you performing or were you writing? Did you imagine yourself on a rock stage with millions of screaming fans or anything like that?
Absolutely. I think everybody fantasizes about that. And if they say they don't, they're probably not being honest with themselves or you, but I could be wrong. There might be some people that are just shy enough to not really want to have the limelight. The thing about what I realized as I developed my own personality and my own goals in life, I don't like to travel. I don't like getting on planes. So what I realized as my dream subsided, that even if my dream came true, I'm not sure that I would be happy traveling that much.
I mean, I'm sure you don't mind meeting people from different cultures and seeing who all is around and at least rubbing elbows with people a few times a month or getting out of the house or something like that.
Oh,
I'm hunching.
absolutely. I'm in a cover band and we play all the time and we have a lot of fans and friends. I love all that. It's wonderful. But I don't have to get on a plane. I don't have to be away from home for a long period of time. I just go to a gig and I come home usually. We do a couple of long distance gigs, but it's mostly driving with my car and coming home that same night.
That makes total sense. I mean, I don't mind going out to New York City or to a meeting in the community or something like that. I do have excuses. I also like being home with my cats, and I also like being home at my computer and writing at least for 10 minutes a day or more,
Hmm.
and or paper. I just think creativity and getting connected to my ideas is the best, but it's not a shyness.
No,
Yeah. What kind of cover band are you in, and what are they called? Where do they play?
we're called The Trip. We're based in
Oh,
Southern California, and we play dance rock music from the 60s through to, well, unfortunately, not that much in the 2000s because we haven't been finding songs that have legs. And I think it's partially the way the world is working now. No songs are becoming ubiquitous enough to carry the gravitas that everybody, you play a song today from something that's on the radio, and you look out in the crowd and you know more than half the people never heard it before. Whereas back in the old days, if you did Walk This Way, everybody knew Walk This Way. The
right.
old hits were more ubiquitous. And now they never quite catch the zeitgeist. They just kind of have little pockets because the world is so pocketed. You know, if you don't
S-
listen to this small little section, you're not going to hear that artist. But how many people are in that small section? Not many.
uh, What are the ages of your audience? Are they young people or are they older people?
Mostly because we play classic rock mostly, it's
Uh-huh.
we tend to have a little bit of an older crowd, but we certainly entertain every age group.
Gotcha. I see that also with soundtracks in a lot of movies that the movie might have a young cast and they're still playing songs from the 80s or 90s or 60s.
Sure.
And I I actually get upset about that because I'm from the Bronx and there are a lot of rockers. Like I mentioned, the guy from Fame earlier, but we have even hip hop came from the Bronx and we're still giving hip hop in the Bronx. But I don't know if somebody like Cardi B's songs are as memorable as Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, which is the message is 50 years old
Isn't that
from,
interesting?
yeah,
They they don't feel like classic hip hop, but they are. It's
yeah,
weird. I mean, the '90s is old stuff now, and I it just feels weird to me that '90s is already 30 years old or 40 years old, whatever it is. It's just
right.
crazy. It's life is flying by.
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, I can totally relate to that. So, was I want to go back to the Red 32 project because I think there's a lot in there and I think the approach that you made and you're talking about combining tracks and again I'm going to call that the beat method for lack of a better term because a lot of the beat poets would cut and paste pages together and then see what the story was, see what story it told them. And lyrically, did your story come about through everybody's instrumentals, or did you have the story in mind and then everyone's instrumentals came about?
Well, our first album, thanks to you, my dear, we were called the Space Age Steely Dan,
Yeah.
and you actually came up with that moniker for us. Thank you. But because of that, I started saying, well, let's capitalize on the space age part of it. So I just said, why don't we write an album with a concept based on something with space? That was the foundation for it. So it's all your
Yeah.
fault.
Well, thank you for blaming me.
You're welcome.
But
You're welcome.
I was really responding to what was on the album. And one of the reasons is Steely Dan has these amazing musicians, and some of their songs have this yacht rock energy. And because I've worked with Orleans and Firefall and Jan Close and a few other singer songwriters, but especially those three. And there's also a new guy named Ricky Prasad Jr. that you all are in that yacht rock genre, and I have the contacts with them. And Steely Dan is a yacht band, And there was a song, and I don't it was one of the first songs on the album.
The video one, yeah, I forgot the name off the top of my head, but yeah, it's the one with the video, and it does have a space theme, and we have like three songs or four songs on the first album that just happen to have a space theme.
Right.
The very first band in space, just a few things that were space
Yeah.
theme, but other types of subjects as well. But because of the fact that you gave us that name, it just seemed like a good idea politically and career wise to try and focus on space.
Now you're getting reviews in pop magazines, but there are no yacht rock songs on this album.
This is not a rock, this is more of a progressive rock album.
Yeah, it's completely progressive rock. So, oh, wow,
But yeah,
cool.
you are the one. You're still the one.
The yacht rock
That's the
song.
Yacht Rock song. You're still the one to make me mad.
That's funny. Well, okay. Well, thank you for the credit, but I get, but you turned this into a complete story. So I was kind of blown away about that. So the concept came before the music on Cybergenic Dreams.
Yes, the reason we came up with it is because of you. But with your inspiration, I started seeing pieces of music that started to inspire me as to what direction in space to go in.
Ah,
So some of the little snippets that I received from the other collaborators led me to a path of, because some of them were dark and mysterious and stuff, and I started going down the path of, well, maybe we destroyed the Earth, and one thing led to another, and just that was the subject matter for the whole concept.
is there hope for this planet, do you think? Or am I being too idealistic by asking that? I mean, you're an artist.
There's so many ways we can go down the wrong path, and we can choose to go down paths that will lead to a future that I've seen in many science fiction movies where it's a beautiful future. But we have to make some choices. And I'm not sure. I mean, I'm hoping and praying that the powers that be and the people make the right choices to go down a path that will save us, and not only save us, because I believe mankind is capable of almost anything.
Yeah.
We have some of the brightest minds, and they're getting better and better, and they're coming up with incredible stuff. And I don't believe there's that much that we can't discover over time. It may take us 1,000 years to go faster than the speed of light, but I think we're gonna, we have the potential to do just about anything. And and we also have the potential, because of the darkness in the soul of man, to go the other way. And
Yeah.
the other way doesn't have much of a future, I'm afraid. So I'm hoping and praying we choose the right choice.
What are some of the movie solutions that you like the best? And you can mention the movie as well as the solution.
Hmm. The solution. There's a lot more with the destruction of Earth than there is the saving of Earth.
I know.
It's
Very,
interesting, isn't that interesting? But I think it's because creative people want to warn us.
yeah,
They want to show us the worst so that we start saying we don't want to go down that road. That's awful. So I think it's a creative choice to scare us into doing the right thing. Now, what movies in which we went down the right path and became the greatest things we could be? Ooh, isn't that horrible that I can't even think of one? I could probably give you 50 on the other end. I'm trying to
I
think of
know.
even one. Can you think of one? Maybe that'll start my brain going.
There's some issues. There was that Sylvester Stallone movie where everyone was in the underground and there were solutions. Judge Dredd,
Yeah.
but there were solutions. And then the Luke Wilson movie that Terry Crews was in, Idiocracy.
Oh, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, after some battle, he was trying to lead the world into the right place.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think people have made as many movies in that direction because because of the artistic choices of directors and writers. I think it's like I'm leaning more toward, like with Cryogenic Dreams, I'm thinking more about the destruction and let's not go down that path. However, we were talking about if there's going to be a third album, might happen, that we would be on the planet, that we would find the planet. And I was hoping that we'd make it a positive album and make it we made the right choices and we are continuing on into the future with hope. I would I would like to make that next album positive if we go down that road.
Too. I mean, I think what I liked about Idiocracy was he was trying to come at the wasted world with civics and education in ways because people didn't understand it, but a lot of their instincts knew that this guy was coming from the right place. The Luke Wilson. No, what is the Wilson brother? The dark-haired Wilson. I
I
don't
saw the movie a
remember.
long time ago.
Yeah,
But
no, it
what
is
I
Luke
recall, if I'm
Wilson.
not mistaken, the movie was that the guy was just an average brain. He
Yeah,
was he wasn't a brilliant guy, but he was brilliant in comparison with everybody else on the planet whose brains had been deteriorated by some kind of a drink that they were drinking. There was something wrong with the drink. Am I right?
probably is true.
I don't remember the details. It's been so long, but yeah, he was just a normal guy, but he was a genius compared to them.
Yeah, but he also understood civics and voting and no, that's not how government works, that type of thing.
Mhm.
So I also cryogenic dreams, and I'm putting deepness into here, but the guy is a dreamer. I call him the dreamer on your album, the Red 32 album. I just call him because the album's called Cryogenic Dreams. He's in a dream state throughout the album. And I think there is hope in dreams too. And I think the attitude that he has can be applied for many things in life, uh, even nowadays, because here we are in this world and there are issues like I guess the big news currently is people will have 2 or 3 jobs and they're still not making ends meet and they're dreaming of solutions and they know that there are solutions, but nobody listens to them.
We have a lot of problems that have solutions.
Yeah.
I think there are solutions to all of our problems. Right,
Yes.
right now, we're at a pivotal point. We all know it. We're at a turning point on the history of the Earth, and we can make some really great choices and go in a wonderful direction. Let
Yeah,
that
we
be the
can.
case. I mean, I really keep saying to myself, let that be the case, because the other road is just too dark to want to even think about.
Yeah. I agree and we see it. um I'm thankful. I'm thankful that we have situations still where we can talk about warning people or pointing people in the right direction and ways to get people inspired and educated. And there are I mean that's one of the reasons that I'm doing this interview show is because there is a lot of exclusion and a lot of times we'll see people that want to be included and they have great messages, but how do you find them? How do you let them know that they're not the only ones that are thinking that way? And yeah,
I think a lot of us think that way. I think there's a tremendous amount of people on this planet, enough to turn the tide.
yeah,
I really do. I think there's enough to turn the tide, but we have to do it now. It's just a question of timing. Do we have enough
yeah.
time to turn the tide?
Well, yeah, that's what we're all hoping. Um, what music are you listening to that we should be listening to? Because I know you do a podcast as well, an interview
I
show.
do. Let me a little podcast book.
Oh, neat.
There's some great bands. Oh, all these guys are great. Mirax, Dust of Time, Increase the Angle, Nick Fletcher, phenomenal guitar player, Bonzo Fibres, phenomenal guitar player, Enigmatic Sound Machines, a wonderful album, and they're putting out a second album, and I'm going to be playing guitar in a couple of tunes, they invited me, which was very nice of them. Daughter of the Water, Ruby Ate the Fig. The band Ruby Ate the Fig is inspired by Middle Eastern desert music. It's kind of psychedelic desert music, and it's fantastic. The Mighty Roth,
This,
very powerful stuff. My dear friend Mike Sherrill, who does a band called Ios. I'm sure you know Mike, he's fantastic. Prehistoric Animals, great band. Fearful Symmetry. I could go on for an hour. Blake Carpenter, who does my videos, he's a wonderful musician as well. Jacob Roberge, he's fantastic. Chakra Vima, these crazy name bands that they come out with today. Fantastic music. The truth of the matter is every band that I have interviewed in a different way, and they all sound different, is wonderful. Every band is fantastic. So I can honestly say I've been listening to a lot of wonderful music just doing my interviews.
what is your pod? And that's a way that people get together. Tell me what your podcast is or interview show, and where can we hear it? And is
Just
it
go to,
available anytime?
yeah, it's online. It's www.houseofprague.com. And I perform my show airs twice a week, Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon Eastern time. And then Friday, it does a replay of the same show if you missed it at 4 o'clock Pacific time, 7 o'clock Eastern time on Fridays. And every week I interview a new band, many of which I've never heard of before. And I'm so glad that I'm introduced. That's one of the things I love the most about my show. I'm introduced to music I would never hear. And it's so
Okay.
sad that there's so many wonderful artists that people have not heard of. I'm glad to be able to spread the word a little bit, but I don't know how many people are getting the message. And that's what I'm very grateful for you for helping Red 32 and other bands to try and get some audience, some listeners. That's all we want is some listeners. We've done all this work. It takes us a year to put an album out. We just want people to enjoy it, but they're not going to enjoy it if they don't hear it.
Well, that's absolutely true. And that's kind of, well, that is one of the reasons that I like uniting, connecting with people and getting the word out. And I like talking about some of their solutions and ideas and ways it can sweeten up the world, things like that.
Connection always connects.
Yeah, yeah,
Connection. The more we learn about other people, the more we love other people because people are very lovable
yeah,
for the most part. Most
yeah.
people
There
are
are
very
some.
lovable. We all have our quirks and might rub us the wrong way, but for the most part, most people are good people, full of love, and they just want to be seen, heard, and get a modicum of respect for what they do. And connecting to people does that. It gives you a chance to meet them and understand their world.
Absolutely, absolutely. Is there anything that I left out that you want to add about some of your activities and things that you're doing?
If you just want to talk about what I have coming up, Bomber Goggles, the second album is coming out very soon, next year sometime. Um, I have another release coming out in the spring of 2026, Stargazer 3, the third and final episode of the Stargazer trilogy. That's from the Steve Bonino project. And that's going to come out on Melodic Revolution Records, as is the Bomber Goggles album.
What
And I
is your
just released
mm,
I just released a greatest hits package of a band I was in the mid 2010s called Blue Plasma Orb. That was a classic rock sounding band. Very different for me to be part of that, but it was very fun to do. And there's an album that just got released. You can hear it.
I will check that out. And what is this, the trilogy of the Stargazer 3
Yeah,
trilogy? The
yeah.
Steve.
Also a space. It's very similar to the Red 32 concept, actually. We destroyed the Earth in Stargazer, And in Stargazer 2, we land on the other planet, we build a dome, and we find out that there was another species living on the planet that we went to. And then, in a very strange turn of events, the creatures that were living in those housings that are now empty because they've left the planet, it's just an empty ruins. They were from Earth.
And
They wound up going to Earth. Forgive me. They were from another planet. They went there, and then when they got to the city, they opened up the documentation and they found out that it was written in Sumerian. So they were the Sumerians. They then left that planet and went to Earth. And they had the reason why we don't know who they were is because they swore after 7 times migrating from planet to planet that they would give up technology because they had not been successful 7 times. They thought they'd try something new. So,
wow.
and then they destroyed the planet that we went to from on Stargazer 1, and they went to Earth, and then Earth developed technology and destroyed itself and went back to the planet that they had just come from.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
pretty wild. So the technology kept on being the problem.
Oh, ouch, ouch, ouch.
Yeah.
But then again, it's also the solution because you can write music and trade wave files with everybody.
Oh, for me musically, I love the fact that I can record. I'm in a band with some wonderful people from Italy called Chamber of Creation. I don't know when that album's going to finally come out, but yeah, we're recording and putting out a whole album on 2 different continents. I love the fact that we can do that. Sorry about my video. I apologize. I'm sure this is going to be very annoying for your crowd. I apologize to everyone. Technology, see,
Live.
technology destroyed the earth and it's destroying our video here today. Yes, see, you darn technology, you.
It'll
I
get
apologize.
better, I promise.
I
Next,
apologize, Ann. This is more than averagely frustrating. I'm sorry.
it's funny. It's funny, but at least you know it's happening and it's kind of cute. So, wow. Wow. So, well, I think there's a poem in Trading Planets and being a traitor to technology or having technology be a traitor to us. And yet, as a music person or in health, and really in everything we do, technology can be a gift, but it depends who's using it. Back to the dreamer. So,
Well, my one prayer and wish is that so many of the brilliant minds that are out there today are saying, do not make artificial intelligence as
yeah.
smart or smarter than people. Do not do it. Some of our biggest brains have said that. I'm praying and hoping that they don't, because once that happens, I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't like our chances.
No, no. And I mean it has its place, but keep it limited.
Yeah. Why does it have what brilliant guy said, let's make it smarter than me? He's already the smartest guy on earth that he can even make it be smarter than him. Why do you want to make something smarter than the smartest guy on earth? Then where
Yeah.
do you go? I
Or
mean,
maybe he's the most stupid guy on earth. You ever think of that?
it's a fine line. The
Yeah.
smartest people do some of the stupidest things because they can. Because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something.
No.
And they very often they say, I can do it, I can make it smarter than me. To what end? To your own destruction? What's the point?
Yeah, I have words for people like that, and that is they are creating drama or they are creating trouble. They're deliberately using what could be used for good
Mm-hmm.
for bad. And they're creating more problems and they're messing up people's lives. And there's
I
a
think
lot of parallels that I could keep going on in that. So,
I think they delude themselves into thinking that they're going to be able to control something that is thinking as well as we can. We can't even control ourselves. We can't control ourselves within ourselves as individuals. We can't control ourselves as civilizations, as countries, as a planet. What makes us think we're going to be able to control something that isn't even our species?
do not have an answer for that. But I hope that people can relearn what discipline is and become useful. I believe in service and I'm going to keep believing in service and connection. And I think we need to keep speaking up about stuff like that, as well as ways to reach out to people that need it, that need to be included and not left out because of some of these AI issues or government issues where they're finding ways to mess with people's lives. So we don't need that.
We're people.
Yeah.
We're not robots.
But we're not.
We thrive in communities. We thrive with communication. We thrive with love, hugs, respect. That's what makes us thrive, not cold technology. That doesn't make us thrive.
So I'm really grateful for this conversation. I'm grateful for this interview.
I'm grateful for all you do, for all the artists that you work with, including us. Thank you, man.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And keep up the good work. I can't wait to hear some of these projects that you're working on. And I have not checked out Stargazer 1 and 2, but I'm very interested in that.
The way you can do that, and anyone who's listening who would like to check out some of my material, go to the Steve Bonino, Bonino, projects with an S at the end of it. And look for the link as you scroll down for the Steve Bonino Projects music. That's my Bandcamp page. On my Bandcamp page, all my albums are there, and you can listen to the entirety of it. All
I
my
love
whole
Bandcamp.
yeah, my whole repertoire is on there. So feel free to check out some songs from Stargazer 1 and 2 if you're interested.
Well, thank you so much and have a beautiful rest of the week.
Thank you, man. You too.
All right.
We'll see you soon. Take
All
care.
right. You too. Bye.